Welcome to the Tea of Life podcast, where our mission is to transform every attitude of life by encouraging and equipping you to live the life you love and love the life you live. I am your host, Tiffany Thompson. Hey, remember me? Yeah, I know it's been a while. Towards the middle of last year, I ended up taking some time for myself. Things were happening. I ended up working full-time all last summer, and there were a few other things that completely knocked me off my feet and to my knees. Hard. I felt like I was losing a bit of myself along the way, but I am back and stronger than before and feeling pretty rested as well. So last year I was feeling a bit burned out, and I wasn't really doing my part in continuing to fill myself up as I was pouring my heart out to you and all of this in the midst of working through all those other issues. And I'm very sorry. That was completely my fault, and I own it. So today I'm back. And this is technically the start of season 6, but I know that I haven't released an episode in a while, but whatever. This is my podcast and I can do whatever I want and I can call it whatever I want. So right now I am declaring that this is the beginning of season 6. Well, I've been spending the past half of 2021 trying to refuel and really pray about where God wants me to be in this season and where He wants my podcast, and even if He has a place for my podcast anymore. It's been a hard journey, but I feel like I've had a recent breakthrough, and part of that breakthrough involves forgiveness and letting go of some bitterness. And once I did that, that's really when I felt things begin to open up and my heart began to feel full again. I plan on sharing a little bit about that, maybe more in a later episode. So I'm feeling more rejuvenated and focused on what my mission here really is, and I want to invite you to join me and move forward with me in new motivation in transforming every attitude of our life. My mission has always been to encourage you to create the life that you love to live, because I believe that God desires for us to live our life in full of love, full of hope, full of grace, full of truth, full of intention, full of laughter, and full of freedom like we have never experienced before. I also realized that I didn't finish my homeschooling high school series either, and I'm going to enter a facepalm here, but I can definitely pick that back up again for you and add a few more insights to that as well. So, side note, and speaking of facepalm, I have noticed that I'm using the facepalm emoji a lot less these days than I was throughout 2020 and 2021, so I guess that's progress, right? I do have other great news to share. The last 5 years of podcasting has begun to offer new opportunity, and I recently started a new podcasting job. Yes, I did say podcasting job. There are a lot of you out there who think that podcasting is just a hobby, but for a lot of people, it is not. And maybe Tea of Life podcast is technically just a hobby, but it has led me to an opportunity that I'm super excited about. And if you've been listening for a while, and basically since the beginning, you'll know that back in 2017, we interviewed my friend Sue Becker from Bread Beckers on an episode called Healthy Living Simplified. That interview got a lot of traction on my podcast, and it was super great. We had so much fun and so much to say in our conversation that I had to extend it into 2 separate episodes. And I'll put a link to both of those episodes in my show notes. So at the first of the year, Sue contacted me and asked if I would be willing to produce a podcast for them. And I eagerly agreed. And we just released our second episode. It's called Sue's Healthy Minutes, and I'll put a link to that in my show notes as well. And I'm really excited to work with them because they are great friends, a great company, and their passion has also become my passion over the past 18 years. And that's to teach people that real bread is really the only way to get the nutrition that our bodies need and crave. And it's the one thing that has completely transformed our family's health and life. And I've been praying for quite some time about this opportunity. I felt like something was coming, but obviously I didn't know what it was. In fact, there were a few opportunities that did come my way, and I could have done any of them with ease. But I just didn't feel like they were the right ones. However, I could have very easily said yes to those other opportunities, and then I would have had to say no to this one, which I feel is what God was preparing me for all along. And I guess that's a classic example of saying no in order to say yes. And remember that episode? It was a great one that my husband and I did together, and it's always fun having him on the podcast with me. We talked about whether we say yes or we say no, and there's always an opportunity cost involved. What we need to figure out is which opportunity costs we are most willing to give up or live without. And I'll also put a link to that episode in my show notes as well. So in addition to all that other stuff, I'm also excited to announce that Studio Sweden has recently contacted me again in regards of doing another collaboration with them. So I will be offering a new discount code for you very soon for receiving 15% off of your total order with Studio. They are really a great company, and I think that the quality that they offer for the price that they have is great. And as you may or may not know, I do live in a home with some professional sound technicians, and they think that the sound quality is also pretty good for the price. So in the meantime, check them out if you'd like to at sudio.com, and that's sudio.com. And I'm currently waiting for the T2 earbuds in lilac to arrive. So I'm super excited about those. They apparently have noise cancellation. So we'll see how that works. Well, I think that's about it for this episode. Please make sure that you subscribe for future episodes. Also, if you have any friends who need a little encouragement or friends who are considering homeschooling, please tell them about this podcast. I know there's a lot of information and encouragement here that they can really benefit from. So thanks for listening, and we'll chat again soon. Thank you for listening to TF Life Podcast. If you have two friends who need to transform every attitude of life, tell them about us. Also, right now, before you forget, go to Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, Spotify, or anywhere you listen to a podcast and hit that subscribe or follow button. That way you will never miss an episode. Thanks for listening to TF Life Podcast, and we'll see you next time.